Hi, I'm Pat Halpin, and welcome to the special edition of Meet the Leaders, coming to you from the capital of the state of New York, Albany. We've been joined by the County Executive of Suffolk County, Steve Bellone. Steve, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Pat.
So what brings you to Albany? This is the start of the legislative session.
Yeah.
You know, typically you're up here, as I used to be, lobbying on bills, making sure that the county's interests were protected and improved.
Yeah, we know how important the state is to what we're doing in the county and on Long Island.
I used to tell people we're really a subsidiary of the state.
That's
when
exactly
it comes
right.
to,
That's exactly
providing
right.
a lot of services.
So it's always important to be here to be able to communicate and talk with people about what our priorities are. But today, is really a special day. It's an historic day. We're seeing the first woman ever rise to lead a majority conference in the state legislature in New York State's history. And, that's a significant moment. It's one of those, you're seeing the ceiling break, and as a father of two daughters, I love to see that happen. And I've always been a big advocate. We need more women in politics. We need more women in elected office, and that's a good thing. And to see Andrea rise to this leadership post, I think it's a great thing for New York State, and I think it's going to be a very great thing for Long Island.
You have gotten to know the new Senate Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who's also a suburbanite from the suburbs in Westchester, pretty well. Give me your impressions. What kind of a leader do you believe she will be?
Well, I think she's somebody who listens first and foremost. When I first met her, she was very interested in what was happening in Suffolk County, what issues we were concerned about. And I think as a suburban legislator, she understands the importance of balancing issues and priorities and constituencies, and for us on Long Island, that's a very good thing. I was very supportive of a number of different candidates for Senate, a number of whom won in this past election, and I was wanted to make sure that with Democrats in the majority, that we had a good representation on Long Island, and
that,
we have 6 senators
in
now.
my opinion, is very important. So you have 100% of the senators representing Nassau County are Democrats.
Right.
You
incredible.
have one Senator Monica Martinez who solely represents Suffolk County, and 2 others that represent
both
part
counties,
of Suffolk,
yeah.
Democrats. So of the 6, there are 3 that have interest in Suffolk County. But to your point, Albany has always been about the majority and the minority.
Right.
Yeah, the Democrats have controlled the Assembly for a long time. The Republicans have controlled the Senate. But in the end, those 2 majorities have to work together.
Right. Exactly.
So having Democrats in that majority from the suburbs is essential.
That's exactly right. And there's a big difference between having 2 or 6, the way we have now, in terms of influence and ability to protect our interests and promote our interests on Long Island. Long Island is very important to the state overall. It is a place that sends a lot more resources up to Albany than we get in return. And so it's important that the state is investing in Long Island. And under Governor Cuomo, of course, we've seen incredible investments in Long Island, double track and third track, and investments in our downtowns and water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure.
You talk about this very sexy subject called infrastructure
Right.
and sewers.
Right. Yeah.
And what's interesting is that if you look at the first plan for the Southwest Sewer District, that was rejected by the voters. This is in the 60s.
Yeah.
It was a much bigger sewer district.
Yeah. 1967, the first vote.
And you're working to actually make that happen, because all those South Shore communities that weren't sewered.
It is an example. Think about that. That referendum went down in the vote before I was born.
Yes.
And I am working on that issue now because of the failure of that referendum. And it is a reminder, windows of opportunity open up, and if you don't take advantage of them at that moment, that opportunity can be gone.
And that was the time when the state and federal government paid the biggest portion of the bill.
Right.
2/3.
Yeah, and over time now, that all went away, and so we're faced with a situation where much of the county is unsewered, sitting above a sole source aquifer, and that's where the source of all these water quality issues have come from.
So obviously that continues to be a priority. What are some of your other priorities for 2019?
We're focused on economic growth. Ronkonkoma Hub is a big area of importance to the entire region. You have the double track investment right there on the main line, third track also. And here you have Long Island's regional airport and the busiest station in Suffolk County, third busiest in the entire Long Island Railroad system, Ronkonkoma. 90 acres of property sitting there between. That is probably the most important economic development site in the region. And we're looking to see some great things happen there.
To your point about Ronkonkoma, I was in the county legislature when they proposed the railroad electrified.
Wow.
And they said, we're going to be able to electrify it so that we'll have it take an hour, one seat ride into Penn Station.
Right.
They thought it would be popular. They never thought it would be this popular.
Right, exactly.
And from day one, there was always not enough parking.
That's right. I think it was oversubscribed from day one.
Day one.
Yep.
So
which,
the double track puts that whole thing in much clearer focus, and it's as you point out, even more significant.
Which tells you the demand was there back then. A couple decades later, the demand is certainly there, and the investment, and with the investments in third track and double track that take us right to Ronkonkoma, the property, that area is poised for something that will, I think, be great for the whole region.
So you're optimistic about the future. Some people are worried, well, we don't have the Republicans that have set it to protect Long Island.
No, I'm very optimistic. I think this is going to be one of the most productive.
You are a Long Islander through and through.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you, like me, if you were to say, okay, what am I, a Democrat or a Republican? I'm a Long Islander.
Exactly, Pat. I'm doing this job. I tell people all the time. I want my kids to be able to grow up here and access high-paying jobs and be successful on Long Island, preferably in Suffolk County. So my focus is Long Island, and I'll work with anybody who wants to protect and promote our interests here. But I think it's very important. We've got a strong contingent in the state Senate now that will be about Long Island first and foremost.
And of course, you will be a strong voice for Suffolk County and Long Island.
Yes. To
make sure that the needs of Long Island don't get forgotten or overlooked.
I will be up here in Albany as much as I need to be.
Okay, Steve Bellone, have a great year.
Good to see you, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you. That's going to do it for Meet the Leaders. I'm Pat Halpin. We'll see you next time.